What's up, people? It's your girl, Davina Shirley. I am back. Second week of doing this. Just no script, no format, no nothing. Just raw dog, Davina. Since last week, though, restoration came back. If you watched the sabbatical series, then you understand that I expressed how this season is definitely restoration season. That's what I came out of my sabbatical with. I felt like I was like, you can move, reminding me that no matter which direction you take, no matter what step you take, I'm right there with you, sis. Like, I'm right there with you. I got that Monday night. And again, I think it was Tuesday when Pastor John Hanna was on Wide Open. He talks about his new series, which I definitely need to tap into this series just because when he said it on Wide Open, I was like, yes, like you're talking directly to me. He talked about how his new series is called The Delay is Over. Basically, that whatever words is coming out of my mouth or whatever God's word is to me, it will be fulfilled. And this month of March, specifically for me, this is just something I did on my own. But I told myself to pray as if it's already happened, not asking God to do this, not asking God to do that, but pray in a way where all the needs, all the asks that I would have typically pray about, I'm praying as if it already happened. I'm giving thanks in advance to God on the miracles and the things that He is going to do in my life. And I felt that was very important. And prayer has become prayer first. Like literally, people say that, but a lot of people don't do it. Prayer has been my first response. With the prayer being my first response, God has now become my first result. Instead of me trying to figure things out on my own, God, what do you say about this? I go to Him first. I feel that my faith is growing. Just believing without a doubt that this stuff can happen because there's nothing too big or too small for our God. So I got that on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I did my therapy. And in therapy, we talked about my perfectionist trait and trying to get to the root of that because I truthfully don't know where that came from. I do think what has contributed to that trait is church, the military, and just my individual standard when it comes to intentionality and excellence. And what came out of it is that a lot of my relationships have been transactional. Like, I'll do this for you as long as you do this for me. And even if they don't even say it, I know what you're about. And this is mainly towards the men. For example, I've been trying to get Barefoot Podcast Season 2 going for the past year, but most of the people that I've reached out to try to produce the podcast are men. Many producers say, oh yeah, if you fly out here or fly me out here, I can do it for you. And I'll be like, okay, how much? And he was like, oh, you ain't gotta worry about that. You could pay me in other ways. You could pay me with your time. And it's just like, do you really want my time or do you want these draws? Be for real, for real. Like, I'm not dumb. And so it's just like, why would I even put myself in that position? And so that's why there hasn't been a season 2 because I haven't been able to find somebody that is just truly trying to help. And I just feel like if people support you like they say they do, if people really want to see you win like they say they do, they ain't going to ask you for anything. Support is action. Support is action. The bottom line is, why would I think that you would support me in such a way to do, like, again, the example of a podcast for me when you can't even do the stuff that is for free, which is share, like, comment, tell people about me when I'm not in the room. When somebody is looking for something that you know that I can do, why aren't you not giving them my information? That's support. Our relationship is very transactional. And those people I've learned, they're not my friend. They're an associate and they only want something as long as I can give them something back. With that said, it has affected the way me and my relationship with Christ is, because I always feel like I have to show and prove myself and feel like I have to earn something that has already been freely given by God to me. And now that I know some of the key reasons, of course, I want to try to break that. So that was Wednesday. Friday, I got some of the best news ever, which was the days in which my man is going to be in San Diego, and I get to go out there and see him. I am so excited. I am so excited and giddy and nervous and just like, ugh. I'm so happy. I can't wait to see him. Like, we haven't seen each other in 3 years. 3 years. And I know some of y'all wondering, like, why has it been 3 years? It's been 3 years because when he was here in Denver, we were dating, got very serious. But when it came to him about to be relocated, the main thing was us not being able to spend as much quality time while he was here. Like, his work schedule, if you know the Navy life, the work schedule is crazy. They barely sleep. They're always working. And so wasn't used to that. Like, I come from the military, but that's Air Force. Air Force has a little bit more flexibility. So when he was here, it's just like, we're not being able to spend the quality time. And he felt that he couldn't give me what I needed. And so we left things off. Like, it was very sad, very much so. I was crying. But as he's been away, we've talked. We've stayed in communication. I would email him during his deployments and stuff like that. It got to a point where it was just too much emotionally for me. My emotions about it was going up and down just because, again, military life. If you are not sure about the person that you're with, or you don't feel like you can trust the person that you're with, then all the things that people say about military couples and long distance relationships can definitely make you doubt the relationship that you have with the person. It was just more so that I need to figure out what I wanted versus me not being able to trust him, because he's never given me a reason not to trust him. And so I told him I need a break. And then during the holidays last year, he hit me up around Christmas, like, would we be able to communicate and email, because he's about to go on the deployment that he's about to go on. And I was like, okay, sure, because I felt better about where I was at and what I wanted. I was like, before you go on deployment, we need to figure out what we're doing. At this point, I'm willing to take this ride with you, but this is what I'm requiring. Okay? And I sent that man my boundaries. I sent this man what I expect of him. I told him we're just not dating just to be dating. We are dating for marriage. So this is what I'm looking for in my husband. I laid it all out for him in true fashion, just like he did when I asked him, do you want to give us a serious chance when he was here? He said, let me think about it. Had me sweating over here, okay? But I love that he just takes his time and he really processes what I'm asking of him and really figuring out if this is something that he can do. He called me right before Valentine's Day and was like, to me, this is bad timing because I'm about to be deployed, but it's a yes for me. Like, I want to be with you. And yes, I want this. So that's why it took 3 years for us to to see each other. But the fact that we were about to see each other in 13 days, I can't wait. If you've been watching me, you probably feel like I say this often when I'm trying to date or when I find somebody that like is checking off boxes, but no, based off our history and what we're building even now, and the just how strong our connection has been able to survive and continue throughout this whole time is different. Everything from when I met this man up until now, it has been different with him. Saturday, I went to a travel show with my parents, and that was cool. I was supposed to go to a Black professionals event that evening, but my allergies was messing me up. I came home, took a nap, then I was up all night going into Sunday, and then forgot it was daylight savings time, so I only got about an hour of sleep before I had to wake up, go to church, end up going to church, and they had a brunch right after for young adults, so went to that, and that was interesting. But I was able to open up. My friend Kelly was with me, and she said, "Oh, you opening up a lot." I was like, "Thank you," because I'm trying. At that brunch, one of the guys, his name was Lex, if I'm remembering correctly. He was just asking me like, what am I looking for as far as community goes? I said last week I'm looking for church community, but to get even deeper, I'm looking for people that's doing their work. Okay, as a life coach, I was running into people who said they wanted to do this, say they wanted to get better at this, and wanted to improve and do all these things. But once we got to the nitty gritty of the work part of it, they didn't want to do it. And they would back out and be like, I don't want to do this no more. Because once you know what you've been using as a crutch, you no longer have an excuse. Because the knowing requires you to do something different. Knowing requires you to take accountability. And a lot of people don't want to take accountability. And a lot of people are not willing to change once they know, right? Because they're too comfortable. They're too comfortable in their sin. And this is why yesterday's message from Pastor Mike hit so hard. He gave the example of how people be talking about how they're not convicted about something. No, you're not convicted, you're numb. Done this so much that it has numbed you to where you can't feel no conviction about it because your desires are greater than your discipline. Desire or discipline, because I feel like we all have desires and things that we want that pleases us, okay? And some of those things that pleases us we shouldn't be doing, you know. Not if you walk in this walk with Christ. Now if you're not, I ain't talking to you, okay? Because the same rules don't apply. But if you are claiming to be a Christian and you are a reflection of Christ, there's just some things that you ain't supposed to be doing. But you don't want to do that. Why? Because it's a desire. It is something that pleases you. And Pastor Mike hit it on the nail yesterday. It's all about your pride. I have struggles and I may fail. Like, for instance, with this abstinence journey, I may be on it, okay, and I may fail. But am I getting up and just saying, oh, well, I tried and that's it, and I'm just going to continue in sin? No, I'm going to dust myself off and keep focusing on God until this is no longer an issue. You know, I am constantly trying to get better in the areas where I feel like sin has taken over, where my desire has taken over my discipline. I'm trying to get better at that, where other people who are actively and knowingly living a life that goes against what God says and what He is about. Let's go back a year and a half, okay? OCD, obedience, consistency, and discipline. These are the three things that you need to be successful. Obedience, obeying God's word. Consistency, consistently seeking Him and focusing on Him. And discipline, training yourself, training your body to resist. Okay, dying to your flesh daily. What disciplines do you need to put in place in order for you to die? Everybody's discipline don't look the same. Discipline for me, this is what it looks like as far as sex, because again, this is something that I've been struggling with. Discipline for me is fast forwarding sex scenes when it shows up in TV shows or movies. Discipline for me is not listening to as much secular music that entices sexual nature up in me. Discipline for me is may not being on some of these apps as long, as far as IG, TikTok, Pinterest and everything like that, because I be looking for a workout video, but half of these girls be butt naked. And then these men be in there with no shirt on. And I'm like, what that be like? What that be like, okay? Discipline is looking at a fine man, okay, directly in their face and not looking down. That's what discipline is. What is your discipline? What does your discipline look like? What are you doing to stop this? Whether it be a thing, a person, or anything like that. What are you doing to stop this from continuously doing what Pastor Mike said, playing you? Because you can be obedient, consistent, and disciplined with sin. You can be obedient to your sin, okay? Making that thing, that person, an idol, okay? You can be consistent with it. Oh, every day around this time, you know, I feel a little, you know, I feel a little excited down there. So, I got my toys, I got my little shorty I call, and I get it in. Lotion on the stand. And then you could be disciplined, like, this is something I have to do every day. It becomes that. It's like I need it. I can't get off of it. I don't know no other way. That is killing you. It is killing you. So that was pretty much my week. Right now, I'm happy. I'm in a really good space. New energy, new vibes, because it's a new season. And I feel good about where I'm at. I did work on the landing page. It's pretty much done. It is live right now, but I haven't shared it out with anybody just because I still have some things I need to change. I still may not share it out until next month, as I said before, but that's where I'm at. I hope y'all enjoyed this week's conversation. And I look forward to talking to y'all next week. All right. I love y'all. Mwah.